I am your host, Michael Voss, Dragon of the Southern Tier. I'm happy to be here with you today as we will be addressing a response we received from Congressman Antonio Delgado. Representative Delgado is in charge of the New York 19th Congressional District. And if we are correct, based on the redistricting that will be occurring in January of 2022, he may soon be representing part of the New York 22nd District. With that said, we have been looking into Representative Delgado, and we have been asking him questions that we have been asking of many elected officials in reference to Afghanistan, in reference to the Americans who were stranded by the Biden administration and are now being hunted by the Taliban, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and other terrorist organizations. And we have been asking these questions for some time. In fact, we will show you that most recently, in what was considered Representative Delgado's most popular video on Facebook, which was also his most recent, although it shows no information about how many people actually viewed this video. We can only see 7 likes and 3 shares with only 4 comments. We asked Delgado, what will you say or do about the hundreds of Americans abandoned in Afghanistan? This is the primary purpose of government, to protect the people. This cannot be ignored. Now, that was 6 days ago, and I would like to say that it is an issue that cannot be ignored. We sent it out on September 1st, and we had not received any response from Representative Delgado on this, not on the video, not in a private chat, nor in an email. But we went a bit further, and we sent out this letter on September 1st. And we sent it out to Governor Hochul. We sent it to Broome County Executive Jason Garnar, to Congress members Anthony Delgado and also Congresswoman Claudia Tenney of the New York 22nd District, in addition to Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo. In that, we asked them about Afghanistan and in particular about the Afghan refugees. We sent in our letter, we asked, are Afghan refugees planning to be relocated in New York State besides other states in the nation? We have heard from other news sources that there are some 200 Afghan refugees that are expected to be going into Onondaga County in New York. It is estimated or speculated that some 2,000 Afghan refugees will be coming into New York State. That is besides those who are planned to go to Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, among other states, although this is not finalized or confirmed. How many refugees are planning to be relocated in New York? What counties have been targeted as relocation zones for these Afghan refugees? How many refugees will go to each location and county? Will the refugees be fully vetted as per United States standards, which normally takes 18 to 36 months? And if not, is New York not only accepting the translators and other Afghans that were previously vetted by the United States Embassy and military? To clarify on this and to be very clear, the normal process for any refugee is to be vetted for 18 months, at a minimum up to 36 months, depending on the individual. In the case of Afghanistan, there have been exceptions that have been made for those individuals like translators who have worked with the United States military and the U.S. Embassy, and therefore they had an expedited process because they were known and have already been vetted by the United States government. We have no idea what's happening with the Afghan refugees that are coming to New York State. We do know that several of these refugees are currently in Fort Hood and are awaiting transportation to New York State, although that has not received a final confirmation. We went on to ask, do all refugees to be located in New York State have COVID-19 vaccinations and or prior testing to entry to New York? If not, are refugees required to get such screening and or vaccination after relocation? We've not seen this addressed at all. We go on. with our sixth question, which is, what is the estimated cost of relocation of Afghan refugees to New York State and to counties currently identified for relocation? Is this coming out of the pocket of New York State residents, or is this being paid for by the federal government? It seems to be unclear. And will this affect the taxes? We asked for a timely response on these 6 questions. Again, we sent this out to Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo, Governor Hochul of New York. We sent it to Broome County Executive Jason Garnar, to Congress members Antonio Delgado and Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. To be fair and to be exact, we did receive a response from Congresswoman Claudia Tenney's office at 12:46 p.m. on September 3rd, 2 days after the letter was sent. We received from Congresswoman Tenney's office that they are investigating the questions. They are seeking to get answers, including searching and requesting information from the U.S. Library of Congress, and they are attempting to get back to us as soon as any and or all of the questions can be answered. We have not received a response from any of the following people. In the top left corner, that is Broome County Executive Jason Garnar. In the bottom left corner, that is Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo of the New York 123rd District. To the bottom right, that is the new appointed Governor Hochul of New York State. And to the top right is Representative Anthony Delgado. So to be clear, we have received a response from a member of Congress. We have not received responses from any members of New York State's government and those most directly affected, nor have we received a response from Representative Antonio Delgado of the New York 19th District, much like his failure to respond to our comments, which we believe were respectful, on his videos and some of his his statements on Facebook. And that's not to say that Representative Delgado has been remiss. He has been attentive to his public. We want to be clear on that. So Representative Delgado has been involved with his public. On August 29th, 2 days before the Biden administration abandoned Afghanistan and Americans, hundreds of Americans were left behind on purpose. Representative Delgado was talking about his work in the Hudson Valley Center for Veteran Reintegration, which is a commendable thing. He had a town hall at 5 p.m. On the 30th, he went on to mention that he was applauding President Biden had signed a Puppies Assisting Wounded Service Members, or PAWS, for veteran therapy. And it's a law that was enacted, and he was very proud of that, which we commend. This summer, he challenged kids and families to read 20 books, and he reached out to the public to give support to veterans as they were suffering because of scenes of Afghanistan, of Kabul, reminding many Vietnam veterans of Saigon, of the same kind of botched exit from Vietnam. And many were suffering because of that. Many vets who had served in the Middle East, including Afghanistan, were suffering because of the botched manner in which the Biden administration was running away from the Taliban and abandoning Americans, hundreds of American citizens in Afghanistan. But we don't see any comment anywhere on the page by Congressman Antonio Delgado, where he ever addresses a single American in Afghanistan. We see no comment from him addressing any of the issues about the botched exit from Afghanistan. He makes no comment. It's as if it did not exist. It's as if the American citizens do not exist. Even though he's talking about veterans and what is causing the agitation, he won't address it. He won't speak about what is causing the distress for so many American citizens. And then he goes on to speak about the crisis of the Hurricane Ida, which is fine. But again, Representative Antonio Delgado, like many Democrats, both at the state and federal level, are ignoring Americans in peril. So again, we sent out our letter to him to request information from him, to try and find out what is he doing for the American citizens. And we received no response until we did get this response from Representative Delgado. And this was an email we received, and I want to make sure it's as clear as possible for you, that Representative Antonio Delgado will be holding a New York 19 Veteran Forum. He wanted to thank neighbors for sharing heartfelt messages with our upstate veterans. If you haven't left a note of appreciation, he gives you a link for that. To further support our veterans, I am hosting a New York 19th Veterans Forum tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. in the Saugerties. This event will give those who served a space to lean on each other during the challenging times and share resources for support. If you cannot attend in person, you can watch the live stream via my Facebook page. Well, again, we ask a simple question. Representative Delgado, the cause of this dismay and this disheartening reaction from veterans is the botched exit of Afghanistan. It is because we have left American citizens behind. We have abandoned them under the Biden administration. Hundreds of Americans, including, as we have reported and has been reported by international news media, pregnant women and other individuals who have been trying to escape. Not just the Afghan interpreters and many of the people who already are vetted to be cleared to enter the United States. Besides the thousands of Afghans, we're talking about American citizens, hundreds of them, have been left in Afghanistan. And this is causing a problem. This is causing many of the Vietnam veterans to have flashbacks of Saigon. It is causing dismay and disheartening our Afghan veterans and those who served in the Middle East, even in Iraq. This is the cause of the problem. And to say that, well, we're going to support you, which is important, why are you not dealing with that? And more importantly, and the thing that really gets my goat, is that Representative Delgado could not respond to our request about the 6 questions affecting New York State. He could not respond to our questions about veterans and the Americans who have been left behind. But he can definitely go and post this, send us this message, this email, promoting something that he is doing to make it seem like he is helping, that he is trying to do something for our veterans. And in fact, it is something to be done for our veterans. But at the same time, Representative Delgado, you are avoiding the issue. You are covering up the actual cause. You're dealing with the symptom and not the root cause of this. You are not addressing what are the needs of your community, which would be in getting Americans back home safely, in being able to address the refugee crisis by these Afghan refugees that are in crisis, that to address whether or not they are vaccinated, to address whether they are fully vetted, to make people aware of where they are going and how many are coming so that our communities can prepare to be able to accept them properly and without rush and haste, and to let us know if this is costing us anything, and if so, how much, so again, we can have some accountability, so that we can have some preparation. Representative Delgado, you are failing your constituents and the people of New York State, as well as the United States, by avoiding these questions and by putting up propaganda puff pieces to make yourself look good so that you have a good chance of winning re-election in the 2022 midterm elections. Because that's what this is about. You're saying you're doing so much for veterans, but not quite true. And in fact, we want to go something that comes from the Times Union itself. And I will show you that. From the Times Union itself, which is a left-leaning news publication, We see local vets seek help following scenes from Kabul. This was on August 27th. This was 4 days before the Biden administration abandoned American citizens and ran away from the Taliban while providing them with over 600,000 small arms, while providing them Black Hawk helicopters, artillery equipment, and various APCs, armored personnel carriers, effectively arming the Taliban. 4 days beforehand, we see this, and this is from Dutchess County Military Veterans Program. And in this article from the left-leaning Times Union, we see that there are many people who are actually coming out to a program for the veterans to help them out. But what we don't see in this entire article is any comment from Congressman Antonio Delgado. What we do see is that at the very end of the article, in the very last paragraph, the only reference to Representative Delgado, he had nothing to say about this event. He didn't say he was attending this event. U.S. Representative Antonio Delgado, among others, announced a bipartisan legislation to improve National Veterans Crisis Hotline, which would implement improvements in staff and training and management. In a press release, Representative Delgado said that our brave veterans deserve the highest level of support, which the legislation could help create. While we do not doubt that this legislation can help our veterans, again, we believe that the best way to help our veterans is to help American citizens, the very thing they gave up their lives for, why they have been injured, why they are taking distress. Because Americans that they dedicated their lives, that they swore an oath to protect, are in harm's way because Joe Biden put them in harm's way. And Representative Delgado is very happy to do puff pieces to make it seem like he is trying to help while he is actually helping his party. It is partisanship, and we are upset by that. We are insulted by the fact that we sent six questions to Representative Delgado. He answered none of them. He ignored them. He ignored the situation that is facing his constituents, to New York State residents, and to this nation. And instead, he decided to send out, unsolicited, a puff piece to let us know about New York veterans, which is important, but ignoring the cause of the problem in the first place. Representative Delgado, we will offer you as much time as you wish. We would like to do an interview with you, and we will provide you as much time as you wish to answer any and all of our questions. We will be more than happy to provide that live to the public. It will be unedited, as all of our videos are. And every one of our interviews are fair and balanced. They are not hit pieces. There will be no gotcha moments. So, Representative Delgado, we ask you to address some of these concerns. We ask you to come onto this program and to address the 6 questions we asked. We want you to come on and to address the root cause of the problem for veterans that are significant and are growing, because Americans are remaining in harm's way in Afghanistan because of the Biden administration, and because, Representative Delgado, you are providing cover for that by avoiding the situation, by looking to speak about anything and everything except what is causing the problem. And we are sure that when you have this event for the New York veterans, this will come up. We hope that you will address this. And we hope that the next time you send us an email in response, unsolicited or hopefully solicited, that you will actually answer the questions we have asked you, as we know that Congresswoman Claudia Tenney is working on right now, as she told us on September 3rd, and how you have continued to ignore. Are we a bit upset? Yes, we are. Veterans are being harmed. American citizens are in harm's way. They are being hunted by the Taliban, ISIS, and Al-Qaeda, among other terrorist organizations. This was all done willfully and purposely by the Biden administration. That is a known fact. It is well documented and published, and Representative Delgado is playing politics instead of trying to help constituents, instead of trying to help the American people, the very purpose why government exists. And if Representative Delgado has any question, if he disputes anything that we are mentioning right now, again, I will say, we will give him as much time as he wishes. We have an unlimited amount of time that we will provide to him to answer all 6 of the questions we have asked, that we have sent to him in email, that we have sent to him on his videos of his live streams on Facebook. We will give him as much time as he needs. And he can dispute anything that we have said, any claim we have made, if he thinks it is incorrect. Somehow, I don't believe he's going to be responding. And that is much to the shame to him in representing his constituents and to the American Congress and the American people. But we wanted to address this. We wanted you to know, do you believe that Representative Delgado is doing a great job for veterans by avoiding the root cause of the current dismay amongst veterans? Do you think Representative Delgado is doing the right thing for constituents in America by ignoring Americans who have been abandoned in Afghanistan? Do you think it is the right thing for Representative Delgado to ignore questions about refugees that will be entering into our communities that we do not know if they are vetted, we do not know if they are vaccinated, we do not know if they have COVID-19, we do not know the cost? Is that the way we're supposed to be represented by members of Congress? I look forward to seeing your comments.